What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend. Early Monday morning for me, but just wanted to drop a quick video. Draft is done. Not going to see any draft grades out of me. But before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe, share the news with Cowboys Nation. You know, the Cowboys Cave is here. We're bringing some great interviews and also a lot of fun with Cowboy fans and just having a good time, man. That's what this channel is all about. So if you're liking what you see, take a second and just hit that subscribe if you hadn't already. It just helps out the channel. But, you know, the draft is done. Did they, address some of the needs that we have? Absolutely. I wasn't as hell bent on replacing the offensive line as much as others, but I said it's definitely an area that can be improved. So they went all in. Jerry went all in on getting this offensive line reestablished, so to speak. Did some stuff on the defense, obviously with the linebacker from Notre Dame. We talked about that on some earlier shows, and some other later round second day draft picks. We'll see how they work out with obviously a couple D tackle from Auburn. Then I think they picked up a D tackle in the undrafted free agent market. But really, I don't have any complaints on the draft so much, except the one thing that's got me a little bit of concern is the running back situation. Anyone who knows me, anyone who follows me, anyone who's been hanging on the channel knows I love running backs. I love running the football. And I think, last year had me concerned from the beginning that the lack of running back room and established running backs to really get us over the top is going to come back to bite us. And, I think with Pollard, I think he was really good running back, but I think he's always going to be that too. He's a good change of pace guy. He's a good outside guy. And we tried to use him as a hammer, and that never worked. So I think it was just a bad idea. And I think it hurt him a little bit in the games where the offense wasn't, where the passing game, excuse me, with Dak Prescott wasn't rolling. We didn't have the running game to lean on. So excuse me one second. So now we're in going in a new season. And we're like, man, we need to make sure we run the ball. And I'm looking at these running backs that we have, and you got Rico, you got Deuce, you got Hunter Lipke, you got Malik, you got Snoop Connor on the practice squad. They signed Royce Freeman, and they made it official and re-signed Zeke back, which I know a lot of people aren't going to like that. A lot of people are washed up, 2 yards of carry, whatever they want to say. I'm glad they got Zeke back. I wish they would have kept him last year. I think there's a role for Zeke. You don't have the visions of paying him all the money and having him be the 1,500 running back, 1,500-yard running back, because those days are over. Go look at like Jamal Williams. Look at Mark Ingram in part of his career. I think that's what Zeke can be. Zeke can be the short yardage, the goal line, the dirty yards, the hard yards. I think he could be that running back, not getting 20 plus carries a game. It's going to be situational. Some games he may get 5. Some games he could get 10. Some days he could get 15, depending on if we've got the lead or if we're in a lot of 3rd and 1s, 4th and we're inside the 5-yard line. Think about our short yardage running last year and goal line running. That was an area of weakness, and we said Zeke could have played a role in there. So that doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. What bothers me is they did not draft a running back, and they did not get a free agent running back in the first round, where you could have got younger veteran guy for very reasonable amount of money. As a security blanket. And then that way, if you didn't get a running back, they didn't draft a running back. And I'm not hating them for not drafting a running back. I wouldn't. But if they would have addressed it in free agency, then I don't think there'd be a lot of concern. But they went into the draft, and you're thinking, hey, we need to get a running back. I mean, this running back room is probably as unproven as I've seen since, I don't know, the Troy Hambrick, Avion Kason days, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's now they did go to the playoffs that year with that running game, so it can be done. I just don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence, and I know that McCarthy says that he trusts a lot of these young guys are in the second year of his offense, so he's he sees some potential. Now, hey, I'm sitting here in the mini Cowboys cave, the alternate cave. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not on the field. So I'm just a fan like you guys, man. Just give my opinion. So really doesn't much matter. We end up at the end of the day, we got to trust that McCarthy and the organization kind of knows what they're doing. But as a fan and a big fan of running backs, it's a little bit concerning to see what we got. I mean, you got Deuce Vaughn, who they drafted last year, and I think you could have a role for him. I just don't think they used him in the way that he needed to be used or could be used. And it could be the offense, it could be him understanding the offense, it just could be situational football, whatever it is. But Deuce Vaughn, he's not a guy that you're going to want running the ball all the time. You want him out in the open. You want him catching it out in the flat. You want him, in open space. So he's not going to be your guy. Malik Davis, the question's always been out on him. He could not overtake Rico. Had some issues, ran the ball hard. So we thought maybe you got something in him being a young running back to be that, short yardage, pounded kind of running back, but that didn't really work out. Hunter Lipke really never got an opportunity. He was in the Miami game, had an opportunity for short yardage, and then fumbled on the goal line. Really didn't see him again. Rico showed flashes. Now he's a running back to where a lot of us, we wanted to see more Rico, less Pollard, right? In between the tackles. So he's the wild card. If he ends up being better than what we expect and stays healthy, he could be the one that could basically prove me wrong and say, hey, we got a running game. We do have a young running game. Royce Freeman was a signing. I think he's going to end up being cut, especially if they bring Zeke back. So you're looking at 7 running backs that we have in this room right now. And that doesn't even count Nathaniel Pete, who they signed as an undrafted free agent. He's got the 40 speed, 4.38 40. Only ran for like 378 yards, 78 carries, something like that at Missouri. So he's not a get the ball 20 times a game kind of back. And he was an undrafted free agent. So whatever you see out of him, we'll see what happens. But I mean, you're looking at the room. Zeke is obviously, he's past his prime, but I think he can be effective. I mean, the rest of the running backs are all undrafted free agents, pretty much, except or late round draft picks. So it is going to be interesting to see how they work this running game room. Now, the Cowboys have been passing, but I think we all know we've got to have a running game. You can't put everything on Dak Prescott's shoulders. It's you're asking a lot, and to be honest with you, he needs help with the running game. Like any quarterback needs a good, solid running game that balances everything out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this training camp. McCarthy came out and he sent a message because this is something everyone's been talking about. And he said the state of the running back position, it's a young group, but they all have upside. I think they're better in their second year of the offense. I feel really good about where we are today, and it's not over. So, there are teams that are running back heavy, especially through the draft. Maybe the Cowboys reach out and maybe there's an opportunity for them to get one of those, not an older veteran, but one of those younger veterans that hit that second year of their contract. Which, I mean, these running backs, I feel for them, man. They're not playing for a lot of money when compared to some of these other positions. It's become kind of an expendable position. So if you believe in that, you may say, hey, Mike, what are you talking about? We just, you just throw a couple bodies in there. We invested in this offensive line through the draft. I mean, you've got Beebe, you got Guyton, you've kind of redone your offensive line in one draft. If these guys end up being the nasty linemen that we expect them to be, we could be all right. I can run behind that line. Maybe that's what they're thinking. But it remains to be seen. I just hate the unknown. I like to go in with a little, hey, I know this guy. I know what he can do. I feel good with him running the football. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But hey, we don't have a live show tonight. We had to move it to Tuesday. My man Jimmy had something coming up. So we're going to do our live show on Tuesday. And then Thursday, I believe we got a special guest coming in, and we're going to talk everything kind of reviewing the draft, reviewing where the Cowboys are now. Are you feeling a little bit better about them, or you still have some hesitation? You still have some uneasy feeling about them? I tell you, who's not uneasy about them is Vegas. I mean, Vegas still has them, top 4 in the conference, top in the division on odds of winning. So Vegas must know something. They must know something we don't know yet. So maybe there's some surprises, up the sleeve. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But definitely appreciate you guys checking it out. As always, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. Spread the word with Cowboys Nation. We do our live shows a couple days a week, and then obviously dropping videos here and there. And then more importantly, we will be live tomorrow. We will be live on Thursday. Special guest talking all Cowboys. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll reveal the guests a little bit later. We always like to keep a little anticipation, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So again, Cowboys Nation, have a great start to the week. Enjoy it. We'll see you. I got to get up, got to get rolling. We got to get to work. Peace out.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry.